Hello, my name is Mike Kuhn from in3.de, and I would like to show you in this webinar why FreeForm Modeling Plus is my choice of tools. I'm going to show this on an example of collectibles and ceramic tiles. We're going to model the image that you see at the moment, and we're going to reuse some parts of it to create other objects. So I'm going to use partly the PowerPoint, or in this case the PDF, to explain some features, and parts of it I'm going to do real live in FreeForm Modeling Plus, so you can see the features directly, how everything is working. So basically we're starting with the basic shape that I've already done over here in FreeForm Modeling Plus. This shape can either be drawn within FreeForm Modeling Plus, as I did, or of course can also be drawn in another program and then be imported as, for example, Adobe Illustrator files. I've already prepared a list of objects. Where I have prepared empty pieces of clay, but I have already defined the resolution which I'm going to work with. As we're working with point clouds, voxel clouds, we can use this resolution to define how exact the model is going to be. So we're going to start with a relatively rough resolution, about 0.5 millimeter, because this is going to make this task a lot faster. It is still quite heavy for the computer to calculate, and as soon as it's ready, I'm able to use the inflate tool. I can define the fullness, two-sided or one-sided. Then when I touch the clay, this hand appears, and I'm now able to pull on the clay and therefore inflate it to the shape I would like to have it. So here we see that we can pull this up. Let's just make a shape like that. I'm trying to get not too high. Let's zoom in a little more. Okay, it's going to be a fat lizard, but that's okay. Good times. Maybe a little less. So let's grab the surface again and push that little down like that. So after that is done, I will now move over to the smoothing tool. As you can see, on top of the head and on the tail there are some ridges that have appeared, and with the help of the smoothing tool I'm able just to kind of melt away all the parts, or smooth out the parts that I don't like. A little bit on the head. Let's move over here. Something on its nose. Done like that. I'm not going to work too much on it, as I'm going to put a structure on top of it anyway. To create the better shape of the lizard, I'd like to have a ridge back there, and I'm going to use the attract tool. I'm going to make the tool a little bigger, make the hardness to 1, and just touch the surface and slide along on the surface. So if I move into a different perspective view, you can see directly how the clay is raising, being attracted to the tool. So that's a very fast way, and also very precise way of modeling. I can of course feel every contact on the object, therefore I not only have the visual feedback but also the haptic feedback, and that definitely makes modeling a lot easier. On front, let's add some eyes. There are several ways of creating the eyes. I could either use the carving tool. Let's finish calculating the ridge on the back. And the carving tool can then be used either from the outside to, let's make the hardness a little less, to either scrape away clay, as one would do in the real world, Or I'll undo that, I pop into the inside and just work from the inside, which of course is not possible in the real world. Another possibility would then be by just creating a new object, in this case a sphere, and just add these two pieces like that, and they will automatically be part of the clay. Again, I'm going to use the smoothing tool to blend in the edges like that. I'm not going to care too much about this part because I'm now going to change the resolution to get a better result. For this, I'm going to open the next scene. So the inflate is done, smoothing is done. I'm going to jump over to where the curves are done. I'm not going to change this. So to recapture what we have done now, we have used a 2D outline, inflated that, used the smoothing tool to clean the surface, created the ridge, created the eyes, and used the smoothing tool to then blend the eyes into the body. What's now prepared in this file is that I have used a slice plane, which enables creating a curve on the object wherever a plane is intersecting with the clay. So that is how this curve has been drawn, and the top curve have then been drawn using the draw curve tool directly on the clay, and by activating fit to clay, these curves will automatically cling to the surface of the clay. So that's the object over here, and I'm now able to use image data to create more structure on the clay itself. So I'm going to use a pattern, and I've already prepared a pattern. Let's look at the thumbnails. So this pattern is a whole bunch of little round spheres in repetitive pattern. I'm going to use that on top of the clay. So I'm defining the boundaries, touching the clay where I would like to have the pattern to happen. And I'm now able to change the size of how big I would like to have this structure. Of course, I also have the possibility of rotating to make it fit better to clay, or to preview only as an image to then have a better feedback of what is done. To not waste time on the calculation, I'll just jump over to the next part where the emboss with image has already been done. I'm not going to change this. I'm going to explain the in-between steps over here. So what I've done, I used emboss with wrapped image. That means embossing within a boundary in several parts, and I've also rotated the back part to fit into here. This then results into an image, sorry, not into an image, but into a 3D model that has structure like that all over the surface. When I now move over the surface using the stylus on the Phantom, I can now feel that there are ridges on that one, while the lower side is absolutely flat and clean. So let's carve in the eyes. I'm just going to use again the carving tool and just scrape the holes in there where the eyes should be. Let's make the tool a little bigger. Something like that. I don't care too much about the inside because it's going to be covered with eyes anyway. Same thing on the other side. You also see by the way of navigating, anywhere I move the stylus, also the object itself will rotate, or in this case the viewport. So it's more or less like in the real world. You grab hold to any object and you rotate it with your hands in space. That's more or less the same way we're working over here. So to clean these ridges on the edges on the eye, we again can use the smoothing tool. Let's not make it too strong, just a little bit.